Hello everybody and welcome back to the final episode of the Mighty Misfit Menagerie does Rime of the Frostmaiden, or cast. And yes, it does feel incredibly ridiculous to do that alone, but as you may have seen in our last video, we actually filmed the entire finale in one big block and split it up into these two episodes here. So please enjoy the finale today, and we look forward to being able to bring you the first episode of the Wilds Beyond the Witchlight later this week. And with that, with everything kind of coming to a conclusion here, if you have ideas for what you think the characters would be doing after the campaign, please leave them down in the comments below, and keep an eye out as we will be posting what each of the players thought their characters are doing after this campaign at a later date. And with that, enjoy the finale. All of the downed have been stabilized or healed, so you are out of combat order.
What? You!
Wow.
Yeah!
You're actually not very magical, by the way.
Well, that was not pleasant. Glad no one died. It seems it was a good idea to come while he was maybe impaired. I'll investigate.
There's
around
gotta
the
be
room.
something good in here.
Yeah, I'll investigate around the room.
Sam?
Okay, go right ahead.
Can somebody prop me up against a corner?
I'm making comfortable. I started examining that Nothic, I guess.
Yeah.
21.
I also just look at the Nothic.
With a 21, in this chamber, at the top of the spire of Irialarthos, as you examine the tables, you find one of them right out in the open, the Staff of Power, laying across the table,
Oh, I forgot about
undamaged.
I grab it.
And it looks like this.
If I'm investigating, can I grab it when he does too?
What was your investigation roll?
19.
Got a 21.
Can I get a dex check from each of you?
The most important one you've ever made, Z.
So are we adding ability to it, or is it just a straight roll?
Just straight dexterity.
So
So,
not save, but
yeah.
19.
All right, as you both reach for it, Otis gets it in his hand first.
Chicago.
Next to
Chicago.
what?
They both reached for the gun.
Oh, they on the table next to it, as you both stare each other down, is the spell book.
can I smack that off since I didn't get the staff?
Can I smack it
Can I
off?
grab it?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Once I grab the staff, I'm backing away.
Oh!
All right, so we have a Staff of Power and the Irialarthos spell book together. On the table, there are several other spread papers around, where you can see diagrams of experiments as well as diagrams of the Mythlar. There is notes and what appears to be a diary.
Vlynn's down, right? But she's up.
She had 1 hit point, so she would have joined you by this point.
Oh, she did. Okay.
May I?
Is she clocking Otis walking away?
Coming up the stairs at the end of that interaction, seeing Otis backing away with the staff and seeing Z holding the spell book, she looks back and forth between the two of you and nods and steps over to the table and takes the diary.
The diary.
I'll kind of like tip my hat to her and then just keep backing up.
Okay.
See if I could find an exit out of this place.
All right. There. Anybody else? What are the rest of you doing? I will say, Freedom, you can wake up by this point.
Shoot off like a firebolt or something. Just
I like all this. Wait, do we care about that?
Otis.
Yes?
Did we have an agreement before on how we're using the Staff of Power?
I will use it to bring back my master, then you can do with it what you will.
Valin, was that the agreement? I say as I'm fucking drained.
She takes a moment to steel herself.
I'll stop him if you need me to.
Avarice is nothing but a blight on this world. But if that is what you want to do with what you have earned, then I will not stand in your way.
But we do get the staff after you bring her back.
That's right. That was the
I
agreement.
have no more use for it.
So you will willingly hand us the staff after you bring her back.
Yes. She might have a different opinion, but
I'm going to use my +1 insight to get a 10. Are you lying?
I want to use the check dance to see if he is lying.
So I will say, I'm not entirely sure what the plans are. How are you planning to use the staff to bring Avarice back?
I was going to go back and to the spire if it's still there.
To the obelisk?
The obelisk?
Yeah. That's what
Have
the
you
plan
shared
was.
that with us?
Well, you're in his mind right now.
Well, so... Yeah, is that on the surface of your thoughts?
I mean, I guess that's a DM call.
I would ask you, is that what you're thinking about right now because of the conversation that's being
I
had?
probably would. I'd probably be thinking, like, I wonder if that thing knocked out the magic of the obelisk.
Okay.
Do I have any save on that, or is it just...
If
you can
that's
see
on the surface thoughts, then I can get that. I can't go deeper and get into your reasoning or your emotional state or something like
Yeah. So that would probably be what I'm thinking at this point.
So to me, like I would interpret, I would just literally just get like obelisk out of you. Literally, like, so what do we know about this obelisk, guys?
Valin's eyes have never left Otis this entire time.
We, Friedhelm, in character, the obelisk will send Ythryn back in time. It's highly irregular magic.
How far back in time?
Seemingly before the disaster, per my reading.
That sounds volatile.
So, if we go back in time to before Ythryn fell,
I don't plan to go before it fell, just before...
how do you know you can control that?
Well, I guess we'll see.
Are you willing to risk that and Avarice wouldn't even exist?
Plus, there's no proof that the staff would survive the process
What process?
of going back in time.
I don't need the staff to survive. You need the staff to survive.
I don't need it.
So if your plan is to use the staff, then you're not arguing with good faith.
My plan is to use the staff to get Avarice back. I've never been dishonest
No, you
or not
haven't,
truthful
but
about it.
are you ready to reset the world back to before?
I'm matching you
And
on the stairs.
take
as you're
everyone
talking.
here back to that time? Avarice wouldn't even exist. No one, nothing you know would exist.
None
Plus,
of
what
us
makes you
would
think you
exist.
can change the course of history? On your own, you were helpless against the Frostmaiden, so the events may unroll just the same.
They might, or I might be able to convince her to leave.
But that's thousands of years.
I'm not planning to go back thousands of years.
Again, how do you know you can control
How
and
do you
pinpoint
know
when you
that I
go?
couldn't?
Everything we've seen about Netherese magic has been volatile.
Valin steps forward and begins to shuffle through the papers on the desk as she separates them into sections pertaining to the obelisk and sections pertaining to the Mythalar. Well, if we're not going to break anything, we might as well learn what we can before we make any choices.
I can be amiable to that.
If your goal is to truly bring Avarice back, I have many resources in Waterdeep. there might be a better way.
I also have resources in Waterdeep, but I don't know. Let's look through the notes on the obelisk and decide from there.
Okay, I'm gonna message Altus. Are you able to bring people back from the dead?
Mm-hmm.
It depends.
On what?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
So any spell that Jake would have access to, we would need the full
Body.
physical body. And
Yeah.
it would have to be within a day, I think.
So that's why I was asking what he has.
It's been more than a day, that's for
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything really, I would need a long rest to get spell slots back.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's if it's to me, it was going to be a thing where if we can bargain with him that you could bring her back after a day without using the obelisk. Would he be willing?
If we had the entire body, it would be 10 days. Has it been 10 days since Avarice died?
Has it been 10 days?
No.
Do we know what the body is?
Go ahead and give me just a straight d20 roll.
So I would tell you that.
9.
Can't have been more than 10 days or we
You
need
have pieces of what is left when the Frostmaiden was done with her. Volin, having cleared the desk into her neat piles, turns. She hands one pile to Otis, one pile to Friedhelm. In receiving them, there are full diagrams of the obelisk, how to activate it, what effects it will have. As far as duration of time, examining the documents, it's clear that this was a safety protocol that was put together, and the time period designed is before damage to Ythryn.
Okay. So that's the designated time, if activated, where it would go back to.
And in the other pile is the Mythalar. Diagrams, an explanation of how it is used, and instructions on attunement.
But we haven't found that yet, right?
Oh, was that at the bottom of the tower? Yeah? Okay. Well, fuck.
What'd you find out?
It seems your friend was right that there's no way of controlling it. Once it's activated, it goes back to before Ythryn falls.
And if I'm not mistaken, directly before.
That's nice that those papers say that.
If only you can cast 7th level spells. Resurrection would bring Avarice back, as long as she's been dead within a century and you only need a piece of her.
Velen,
Wow.
I know your plans going forward with the book, potentially the staff. Maybe we can make a deal for some position in the Brotherhood.
Velen, what is your plan with the spellbook? I have served you faithfully for a long time now.
I plan to destroy and rebuild the Brotherhood.
In that case, I actually... I'm sorry, I thought this would be a more tense moment.
I support that as well.
I think that can be discussed. And she'll put out a hand. And turning to Friedhelm.
Of course. To the ends of the earth.
As per our
Don't
previous
lose me next time.
As per our previous agreement, I am keeping this until my master is back.
Fine. I get the Mythalar.
Take it.
And as that...
And what do we get?
You got the spindle. You had your chain, right? You had your toy. Fuck you. You're done.
You have this.
So there's no gold, no nothing like that in here.
Go ahead and search the table further, because she was only dealing with the table that the staff and the book were on, but there are more tables.
19.
Going over the table ahead, it's covered with kind of rubbish and like kind of crunched up papers and things like that, but moving them around, you can see that the pile of papers created partially from disuse and partially from the crash itself, there is a small metal case. And opening it, there are 4 vials of quicksilver worth 500 gold pieces each, an intricate crystal rod worth 1,800 gold pieces.
Ooh.
Eriolarthas's scroll of Tarask summoning, and a scroll that explains that the quicksilver and the intricate crystal rod are the components needed to create Magan.
Magan? Is that someone I should know?
The blue
creatures.
people that you guys have been fighting all over the city.
Oh, right. I got
Tempest.
it. Now I know the word.
What have you found in there as I'm walking up?
Yeah, did any of the nerds see me doing this?
I mean, they're all having this discussion about the books and the obelisk and the mythalar, so...
I just immediately start studying all the Mythalar stuff, by the way. I'm not going to be the only wizard walking away without a powerful thing.
I do try to, like, on the DL, like, you look at it and see, too, if he's lurking around.
I mean, do we even know what a Tarask is?
Professor Scant
Would I have known
does.
from coming from the south and like still having studied
little legends. I mean, they're not seen, but
Right.
yeah.
I bet we could sell
Or
that
rather,
for a pretty
it
penny.
is not seen.
But
Tempest,
this-
I give you the eyes to end all eyes of like,
What's a Traprask?
it's a beach I've only ever heard about.
Trabask?
Okay.
Did you say...
Subspecies of chipmunk?
the professor floating up between the two of you. Did you say Tarask?
Tarask?
Is that what this says here?
It does, and this one's going to be our prize, I think.
Vastly interesting creatures. And he starts to explain what the Tarask is.
And my face just falls. The more you explain it, what?
And that it is gargantuan, largest creature you can imagine, all of its resistances and its violent nature, and into the air, for the first time, because he's never done this before, Professor Scant projects an image.
Dear God. Who would want to summon that?
Does the scroll allow you to control it?
Well, that's an excellent question.
No, it just said summon.
That's how you spell it. Good Lord.
What is that, a Tarask for ants?
Using an action to read scroll causes the Tarask to appear in an unoccupied space that you can see within 1 mile of you. The Tarask disappears when it drops to 0 hit points and is hostile toward all creatures other than itself.
Oh, it's like that comet thing. Like a last ditch death curse.
I mean, you could conquer nations with it.
Just drop them into cities and...
Then you'd
Yeah.
have to try to kill
Destroy.
it to take over
At
the
this point,
city.
I'm just clutching the metal box. Like,
Okay, well, we'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that later. Oh, I wonder if our bag of holding is working again.
Hasn't been 24 hours yet.
Right now, they still function as a normal bag, but
Yes, it's a...
Oh my god, the room we left is filled with rash.
That's why I said I'm leaving that shit there. I ain't picking that shit up.
I suppose it was a good idea to attack Eriolarthas now before potentially that he summoned that thing because it was inert. So
I also noticed that he didn't cast a single spell during the combat, so he must have been similarly affected.
yes.
possibly as a damage, it may have not had spelled. Though I have no expert in damage.
it did something. I'm not as healthy as I was before. I can feel it.
Tell me about the middle.
So, as you all are talking, Volin, flipping through the diary, steps out to the center of this balcony and says, Saldunar. And the door opens up, allowing you to return to the council chambers.
Oh, good.
The Mythalar from the book, as you can see, looking through it, it gives the instructions on how to attune to it, and it tells you that one thing that it can do is to use its action to fly any direction you choose, a speed of 30 feet. All matter within 500 feet of the device moves with it.
Oh.
The Ythryn Mythrol and our structures held aloft by it hover in place with when not in motion. As an action, you can use one magic item you are holding within 30 feet of the Ythryn Mythrol to immediately regain all its expanded charges or uses. A magic item recharged in this manner can't be recharged by the Ythryn Mythrol again until after the item regains expended charges of uses on its own. And you finally see that it can be used to cast control weather without requiring any components and without the need for you to be outdoors. The casting of this spell has a 50-mile radius. For the duration of the spell's casting time, you must be within 30 feet of the Ythryn Mythrol or the spell fails. Finally, there is explanations of experiments on the nature of divinity in relation to the use of the Mythrol. It seems that they were trying to find a way to either kill or become a god.
Well, they succeeded in one.
Has anyone else seen the stuff that tells you how to attune to the Mythrol? Has anyone else seen the stuff that tells you how to attune to the Mythrol?
Valin saw the attunement portion when she was organizing the papers, but she hasn't gone through and read the detailed descriptions of what it does.
I'm going to pocket all the Mythrol stuff.
Okay.
Can we make our way out of this blasted place?
I even know how to get us home.
I feel like we should destroy this place.
We have the comet.
I agree. I would love...
We have to wait 24 hours before we can use it, though.
That's just enough time to play Chain Lightning.
I don't know if that would be affected by...
I mean, scrolls are inert until they're activated.
Let's say a little chain lightning and then we comet home.
I would like to spend some time with the Mythrol personally. Valin?
I said chain lightning.
I have no interest in playing Chain.
Why am I not surprised in the slightest?
So, we do want to destroy this place, right?
Oh yes, heavens yes.
I suppose, yes.
I just feel like this is too much for someone.
Is there a window in here? In this room?
There is. On the... Sorry, I'm looking at a different map because I was trying to remember where something was. On the lower side...
We're back in the council chamber anyway.
Yeah. Either way, on the council chamber, the doors open out into the balcony. Otherwise, there's a window
we're
from
back
your
down.
largest.
I just want to warn all those Nothics. Do you think they'll understand?
The one Nothic that had been with you, but hadn't left.
Oh yeah, and I looked at him closer.
Yeah.
Should I roll for any kind of like insight or?
It's fairly clear.
That is Hugo. Okay, we didn't even talk about it then.
Hugo.
And what the hell? This is Hugo. Oh wait, I don't know why I'm pointing at you.
The Nothic. Would you like to tell us how Hugo would react in this moment?
How much of Hugo's faculties does he have?
Enough to know that these are friends in order to have done what he did during the battle.
He, looks around, looks at Otis, and then just runs up and gives you a big hug.
Oh my god, can we change him back? Hi, dude.
I go and I hug both of them and I wave for Z to come over. And
I hope this isn't horrible for him. I mean,
as we're all giving a big hug, I'm gonna try my divine intervention and say a prayer to Tyr and see if Tyr can help in any way. Because that's literally all I have left now.
greater. Oh yeah, maybe when we. Okay.
So if I have to roll a percentile die, and it has to be equal to or less than my cleric level.
Okay. So equal to or less than 11.
Is it equal to or less? Yeah, percentage dice confuse me still. 38. $28.
Okay. Is there anything else Hugo would like to do in that moment?
I feel like he would just like beckon everyone except for Otis in for a big hug, and then
Couldn't I just cast the spell on him tomorrow?
yeah, fine, sure.
Friedhelm's not sure if he wants to hug or not. He didn't know Hugo that long.
Hugo's gonna stare at you with his big eye.
Okay, fine.
Big eye.
He
What
pats
we're
you on the
gonna
head.
If we destroy this place, we should at least give all the Nothics a warning and try to get them out of here. What a pain in the ass that's gonna be.
Do those papers talk about how to destroy the Mythalar?
We're not destroying the Mythalar.
We're going to destroy this place.
We can destroy this place, but we're not destroying the Mythalar.
Or it's going to happen with it.
We'll take it with us.
I'm not carrying it.
You won't have to. Trust me.
I feel like this is too powerful for someone to have.
I mean, same could be said of the Staff of Power or the spell book that Velen and Otis have.
I mean, neither of those can raise an entire city.
I mean, both of those have the potential to do just that. I mean, his has the ability to take us back in time.
Not if we destroy that city.
True.
That's in conjunction with something else.
We could use the Mythalar to destroy the city.
Seems like I'm not the one you should be distrustful of.
I just don't feel like we should destroy the Mythalar. It's not like the spindle or any of the other things.
What do you want to do with it?
I'm just afraid someone's going to abuse it.
I mean, that's true of everything we've seen.
And that's why I want to destroy this place.
Well, again, I feel like we could use the Mythalar to destroy the city.
We could also use the comet to destroy the city.
Maybe.
I can't wait to see that.
I think the comet would be a little more fun. Maybe a little more satisfying.
Am I the only one that wants to destroy the Mythalar?
Oh no, I do too. I just know that this is going to be a useless conversation
I'd be
that
on
ends
board.
in us being disappointed.
Valen, what's your opinion?
I
feel
intend
like
to attune to it.
She also wants it all.
According to the diagrams, 8 wizards can.
It would be a powerful tool for us to restart the Brotherhood on the right foot.
Yes, at some point I would like a conversation with you, Valen, about restarting the Brotherhood. I have my duties, but if it's being abolished and restarted, I would...
Arcane.
Discussions can be had.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, besides controlling the weather and moving things, and the DM ruling, is it possible to move? Does it have to move everything, or can you select what it moves?
It's all matter within 500 feet.
Okay.
So, like,
Everything.
in this current situation, you would probably have a shelf of ice floating above you when you moved
It'd
it.
be a giant snowball.
Yeah. All right, with all of you back in the council chambers, what are you doing next?
I would like to go down to the Mythalar and see if there's some way to remove it from its, not the Mythalar itself, but its cradle, so that we can transport it.
Okay. Is who all is going? Because Valen will go to the Mythalar chambers.
If Valen's going, I'll follow behind.
I'm gonna go down there, but I'm gonna go get that axe from that one tower.
The hammer.
Hammer. So.
Okay.
I'm going as far as that spot, but then I will branch away from them.
Okay,
And
so
also, while we were like waiting, I would also like to know what the sap power does.
yes.
Than
Are you going to
turn back time.
Well, I mean, if you can find a way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Give me just a moment. I'll pull it up for you.
He started singing Cher and his brain is short.
But you have to make a DC 30 con save or you turn into share.
While we're all sharing.
Can I intentionally nail that? I see no downfall.
I see no negatives to the situation.
I feel like I just had this information in front of me. And okay, there we go.
Under power. Stop the
So, +2 bonus to attack and damage roll. But it's a long thing.
Oh god.
You know you could technically use that with your blade singing?
Mm-hmm.
Calm Cold, Fireball, and Globe of Invulnerability, Hold Monster, Levitate, Lightning Bolt, Magic Missile, Ray of Enfeeblement, Wall of Force, Retributive Strike.
How handy.
Sorry, pulled it up and I'm reading.
That's okay.
Well, I can't read it, so somebody give me the highlights.
So, stacking me with it is a magic quarterstaff that grants +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls. While holding it, you also gain a +2 bonus armor class, saving throws, and spell attack rolls. It has 20 charges and it regains 2d8 +4 expended charges daily done.
Ooh, nice.
If you spend the last one, you roll a d20 and it can break. When you hit with a melee attack, you expend 1 charge to extra 1d6 force.
Oh.
And then those spells that listed off, they take various charges and you can just cast them.
You can also have a retributive strike. So you can use an action to break the staff over your knee or against a solid surface. And this staff is destroyed and releases its remaining magic in an explosion that expands to fill a 30-foot radius sphere centered on it. You have a 50% chance to instantly travel to a random plane of existence, avoiding the explosion. If you fail to avoid the effect, you take force damage equal to 16 times the number of charges in the staff. Every other creature in the area must make a dex save. On a failed save, they take, if they're 10 feet away, 8 times the number of charges in the staff, 11 to 20 feet 6 times, 21 to 30 feet 4 times.
The magical cost is high.
That's why you throw it in the mouth of the Trask.
Let it bite it.
What? Oh.
Of course, then the Tarrasque could
It has
also
50%
be
chance to travel elsewhere and then come back.
Hey, either way.
Oh, it doesn't say anything about coming back.
Oh, it's just you're there?
Just, yeah.
Cool.
As a wise lizard on acid said, not my plane, not my problem.
I love you so much right now.
I don't know what this reference is, but that phrase was very funny.
Not my chair, not my problem.
How much are not my problem?
Mr. Walk Down Me on the Walkway? Mr. Balloon Hands? Oh my god.
Nope. Got nothing.
If you have never seen Drinking Out of Cups, please go watch it.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed all of those, but I have no idea what it's...
Mr. Balloon Hands.
Anyways, back where we are. I will, so, Tempest, going into that tower, all of the statues that were used to be surrounding the hammer and anvil are crumbled into dust.
Sweet.
So,
I'm laying hands on that hammer.
okay. Excellent.
I take it back. Oh, okay. I thought something was going to happen.
Oh no, you just have it now.
Yes.
So that is also going to be a +2 to hit, +2 damage on that.
Nice.
Can I add a napkin or something on the table?
It's not magical though, right?
It is.
Oh, it is.
It is a magical weapon. Okay, that's okay. I'm just bleeding. It's fine.
Oh no.
You really gotta stop bleeding.
I
all the
know.
time.
I got nothing for you, buddy. I'm sorry.
I know. Me neither. Apologies, all. What?
You
Yeah, keep grabbing your towel. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's been a bad mosquito season here. Anyways,
Sorry, buddy.
so
Oh, those damn bugs.
I know. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, you are able to get that in return. As you do return, the rest of the party is approaching the underside of the spire. And I'll just give this to you just kind of as a piece of information with this. To use it in order to destroy magical items, it has to be paired with the anvil, but it retains its magical ability and it's +2/+2.
Neat. How heavy did that anvil look?
It's probably gonna take some magic to move it.
Okay, never mind. It's gonna have to stay by.
Why don't you get buddy to cast teleportation circle?
I might tell somebody about my predicament with my big anvil that I want
I need to sleep before I can do that, but I can do it twice per day.
Sleep.
So,
Sleep, perchance to dream.
There's the rub. In that sleep of death, what dreams may come once we shuffle off this mortal coil may bring us pause.
chums.
Thank you.
Walking around to the bottom of it, Bolin flips to another page of the diary. As she looks up, she raises a hand and says, Oloston, and you see the field surrounding it disintegrate as well.
I'm watching.
Okay.
Sorry.
As you all begin to enter into the chamber of the Mythalar.
Oh,
Well,
this looks like Mountain Dew.
Doesn't it?
That is bigger than I thought.
Da, da, da.
We're all tiny.
You are all very small in comparison to the Mythalar. Beneath the great spire, a luminous 50-foot diameter crystal sphere rests on an ornate stand.
You're gonna move that?
I'm now not so sure.
Valin, talking with you, points out in the diagrams, as you've been discussing how to work with the Mythalar, that touching the Mythalar causes you to make a con save,
I said, don't touch it.
and you have to touch it to attune to it.
Great magical cost.
Well, I cannot do that till tomorrow.
That is fair.
Make a con save? You can make a con save anytime.
Well, how much damage does it do even if I pass? Because even considering we took a short rest, I'm still at like 27 HP.
Honestly, I think Althus is pretty annoyed with all of you, so I don't know if he really cares.
She takes a rock and tosses it towards the Mythalar, and as it enters the sphere, it disintegrates.
The old Tempest check.
The old Tempest check. That's funny.
Temp check if you will.
Temp check.
well, I think it looks like none of us are going to be doing anything with this until we've all had a rest. So maybe we make camp here.
Seems safe enough.
Yeah.
Lynn, can you lower the defenses so nothing can get in?
Raise the defenses.
Lower. If they're on top, lower.
She turns back to the door, raising her hand again, and announces, Olofstin. And you see, as from the top and base, it comes together. So you
Compromise.
you are now all sealed inside the Mythalar chamber.
I'm taking a quick long rest.
I hope we grab some rations.
By chance, do we hit level 12?
You do. You all defeated Irilarthus.
Arthas.
So you are now level 12. All right. I guess we probably should have done this during our last little break, but I'm going to let them level up really quick. While you all are leveling up, is there anything you would like to do before or during the rest?
I would like to have a frank conversation with Otis about just stuff.
What stuff?
I mean, do you really feel it's necessary to bring her back?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Do you believe it's necessary to schlep around this world-ending relic?
I feel like this is still less dangerous than what you hold in your hands currently.
No, I can cast a few spells out of this. You can literally raise cities.
Yes. And we use
You
it
can
for
drop them.
the good of the world.
The problem with the good of the world is that maybe your good is not the same good as the world's good.
So aside from saving your mistress, you have no further goals?
Well, I suppose I'll go into this new brotherhood with Valin and see where that takes me. If not, no, the world is my oyster. If it's not destroyed by your toy soon.
Oh, does our maximum hit points go back to normal after a long rest?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
That's nice. I kind of take Altus's hand and I lead him to another area of this away from everybody else. Finally.
All of the danger removed. They can finally share their love for one another out in the chamber of the Ythryn
I mean,
Mythology.
this lighting has got to be very pleasing to thine eye.
I would agree.
Quite romantic.
And Z?
What's the question? Sorry.
What are you doing in your rest time?
I'm staring at the Mythalar.
Okay. Mythalar
Staring back.
as you spend time looking into it, seeing these orbiting, undulating lights within the crystal, it almost appears to have this sense of consciousness, of sentience. And it's unclear exactly why you get that feeling, but it's almost as if it is aware of all of your presence. All right. We awaken the next day. Well, as much as days turn to night and to morning below the glacier itself, with all of you safely within this chamber, back to full abilities.
Sorry, we're all...
Yeah, I know. I apologize. Be just a moment while we finish with the leveling up. Did you two already finish?
I'm done. I just got to take a spell, but I'm done.
All right, fantastic. So, Valin, continuing to read through, recognizes that she may be just strong enough to not be immediately killed by the attunement.
So we have to touch it.
To attune to it. I'll remind all of you, just as I reminded myself, with attunement, attuning to an item requires a creature to spend a short rest focused on only the item while being in physical contact. This can't be the same short rest used to learn the item's properties. The focus can take the form of weapon practice for a weapon, meditation for a wondrous item, or some other appropriate activity. If the short rest is uninterrupted, the attunement succeeds. Otherwise, at the end of the short rest, the attunement fails. So, the Ythryn Mythalar is a relatively small device, a mere 50 feet in diameter. To attune to this Mythalar, a creature must finish a short rest within 30 feet of it, meditating on the Mythalar.
Okay, so we don't have to touch it then.
Correct. Misspeak on my part. I had read the Ythryn Myth lore follows the attunement rules in attunement. Up to 8 creatures can be attuned to it at one time. So
I mean, as part of our long rest, we could just attune to it.
the entire party could. As well as Valin and Kingsport.
What harm comes from attuning to it?
As long as you don't touch it, none. So that was a misspeak on my part.
If Falin attunes to it, I'll attune to it as well.
I'm definitely attuned to it. Not being left out of that.
Yeah.
Nah. Altus is going to enjoy his time.
As Valid explains to all of you further, for anybody interested in the attunement, all creatures attuned to the Ythryn Mythalar can sense when the device is being used. A creature attuned to the device can use any of its properties, but only if all other creatures attuned to the device agree to allow it.
Interesting.
Oh, I probably should have tuned to it then. At what point in the night or in the next morning is everyone attuning?
First thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will the next morning then, because Altus was busy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was.
I rolled
Alright.
a nat 20 for performance.
As
Wait, what?
I rolled a nat 20 for performance.
Oh, Jesus. Suppose I don't want
The
to.
night of your life.
Oh shit.
as the group who is attempting the attunement.
Everybody but me.
And then
I think.
at a later date, or a later time, I guess I would.
You're right now.
We'll say the next morning here, as well begin that attempt. Focusing in, sitting, taking in the moment, beginning to sense that same feeling of sentience that Z had felt the night before. There is a shake and the sound of dirt moving. Roll for initiative.
Oh, me too?
Yeah.
Okay.
21.
Did you use advantage on that?
No.
Good, because I didn't give it to you.
Good to know.
Bonus quest.
Otis? What do we got?
Increasing my con did so much for my HP.
All right. Z?
9.
Whew, okay. Altus?
11.
Okay. Tempest?
18.
Friedhelm?
5.
And whatever this is.
So did we make the entire hour, or this we got interrupted?
As soon as you began the meditation,
Okay.
this happened. Yip yip. Appa.
Appa, yip yip.
Okay. It has its own. Ooh, okay.
What is the fuck is
Yeah.
that?
Otis, you are first.
What is
What
that?
does it look like?
It looks like a hand.
It looks like
It's a tomb tapper.
this.
Oh fuck!
We heard about those.
Didn't we hear that?
Ew! It's so big!
Didn't we hear that they're not good?
So her hammer is just a +2
He's
hammer.
disgusting.
Plus 2, plus
Plus
2.
2 to hit, plus 2, yeah.
It's magic.
And what kind of weapon?
It's magic.
A warhammer?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not a maul? So she can two-handed use it?
It can be a ball.
Okay. So I need to put that in here then.
I can do
don't
it for you if you want real quick. I know what stats by heart.
You said it's my
I?
turn?
Okay, so I already did the +2 to this great axe.
Yes.
So we'll just do it.
Oh, what happens to Hugo? Or what happens to the Nothic,
We can,
formerly known as Hugo?
as you had all come down here, he refused to enter the chamber,
Okay.
and all of you watched as he took you one by one, taking hands, spending a moment to really connect, though he couldn't communicate as verbally, and then crossed the ice bridge and left the city.
Oh no, I would have told him to wait because I would have tried some things.
I will move my action. So my full movement 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And then as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Shadow Blade at 5th level.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
All right. It, seeing you coming around the corner, that gaping maw of its stomach opens up in a hissing shriek,
Oh, sexy.
and it
Talk dirty to
throws
me.
its sledgehammer at you
Oh,
for a 23 to hit
does hit.
for 26 bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Not ideal.
As it hits you, it returns back into its hand.
You want that hammer. You want that return.
It's huge.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Oh, his hammer.
How much damage?
Throw it and it comes back.
20
Oh, yeah.
something.
It was 26.
Take nothing.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
All right, and after it does that, you see it burrows into the ground.
Oh,
No.
fantastic.
Whoa.
And that'll bring us to Tempest's turn.
Okay, so what is this right here? This rocky structure right close to us? How high up is that?
Which one?
This
sorry?
one here.
Yeah, the one closest to us.
That's about. It goes from like 15 to 20 feet.
Okay, so I am going to run to that, climb up, ready a rifle shot if I can see it if it reemerges from the ground.
Cold, I don't have control.
Okay. Of which and any of them?
Me, but no one else.
Got it. Thank you. I built this one a while ago.
On rock and roll.
On rock and roll. All right, Tempest, you said up here.
Yeah.
All right. Holding your action until it emerges from the ground. That'll bring us down to Altus.
It's still underground.
Yes.
Where did? Oh,
You're here.
Jesus. I gotta be kind of near it to do stuff.
What's underground? We can't see it.
I know. I'm trying to bet on where it's gonna pop up. Can
You should be good now.
Can I just move kind of down here and like be centered between everybody, and then I'd like to ready a spell.
Yeah.
Can I just have a spell ready for when it reemerges?
Yes.
Just keep in mind that if your next turn comes up and you haven't used it, you do lose that spell slot.
Okay.
Because you've like cast the magic, but you're
Right.
holding it.
All right. Anything else from Altus?
That's Alphys's turn.
Z.
Did we, if we had charms from the fruit before, did they come back or are they just wiped?
The ones that you had within you are wiped. The fruit themselves regained.
Or back with the magical again? Okay. I don't know if I should do this or not, but we're gonna fucking do it. Z is going to cast a spell. And nothing happens.
All right.
I'm gonna move 30 feet diagonally this way.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Cool.
Okay, that's going to bring us from Z to Freetown.
I'm just gonna try and stay near the rest of the group, and then I'm going to prepare a spell for if it gets within 60 feet of me.
Okay.
So you can come up to here.
That's fine.
Excellent. And that'll bring us back to the top of the round with Aegis.
Fuck.
You have another buff you can do? Oh, probably concentration.
Yeah. I will, I guess as a bonus action, start my dance.
Okay.
As my action, I'm going to pop a lock.
That's all?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and then we are back to Buddy Boy over here, who bursts out of the ground very close to where he went down under.
Fucker.
Is that within 60 feet?
Okay.
It is not.
Because he has a burrowing feat of 10 feet. So he went 10 feet. And
Told us
I'm gonna
that.
get my
He
rifle
will-
shot off. Unless you got something.
yeah, go ahead.
How far away from me is he?
90.
Oh, sweet. Right under no, the rifle's really not working for me tonight.
The rifle blast hits the Mythalar
Oops.
and ricochets off, slamming into one of the walls of the chamber and causing pebbles and dust to fall.
How
Sorry.
far?
Anything else, Tempest?
No, that was just my ready to action.
60 feet from you.
Okay, so my flame strike goes off.
All right.
So
That is a dangerous spell to cast on something you don't know where it's going to show up.
Columns.
What did Altus do yesterday? Killed the entire
Killed
party.
everybody.
a dexterity saving throw from it, please.
8.
That does not make it. Yes. Can I borrow some d6?
I actually have some for you now.
Oh,
Not
hooray!
just a troll.
So I'm gonna do
I mean, if
that.
you have D&D Beyond, you can just click on the damage for the spell.
It's more fun to roll.
It's so much more fun to roll.
Especially when there's a lot of them.
Okay.
I don't like it.
It takes.
A lot
Wow,
of ones.
that's a lot of ones. It takes 7 fire damage. And 11 radiant damage. That was not as impressive as I wanted it to be.
You see it walk effortlessly through the fire, completely unaffected,
And the flames.
until the radiant damage hits.
Yeah, did it.
All right, anything
It did it,
that would
Ma.
be any other held actions that I missed?
If he moves,
If he moves to within 60 feet of Friedhelm.
he is going to come forward here and not throw yet. Not throw yet. Closer.
That's it.
that's it.
And go and swing its sledgehammer. It's going to go one closer there. At Otis. So go ahead and send off that attack.
I need a dex save.
7.
7?
Yes.
All right.
Banishment? That's not what you threw at him. Is it?
79 force damage as I
Okay.
cast Disintegrate at it.
Ooh, what does that look like?
Yeah, what does that look like?
Does it kill it? Because
No.
that changes it. Okay. So I, charging up this spell, I kind of force it, and then this tube of energy just disintegrates a portion of it. As it just, like, Thanos'
Pieces of the flesh slough off and become stone in the ray, and then disintegrate into dust from there. And Otis does an 18 hit.
Nope.
All right. It swings its sledgehammer, and you see the sledgehammer crack into the ground next to you, leaving an indent in the stone. And it will pull it back. And does a 24 hit you?
Yes.
All right. That is going to be 35 force damage
Okay.
as the hammer swings into your person.
All right. I'm very pissed off.
All right. From it, we are on Tempest.
Okay, take me 40 feet closer to it, and I'm going to send 2 shots at it. Okay. Ooh, and one of them is a crit.
Woo!
Okay.
Can I? Wait, what was before we know if the second one hit or missed, what was it?
So it's 25 and dirty 20. So
Those
the
are locked
25 is the... Okay, so then max damage is 8 times 3, 24, plus 1, 5, 25. So then I'm going to roll twice. D8s. So, and then do I get my brutal critical on this too?
Jeez.
Your rage can, you can...
No, it has to be a melee attack.
Okay. I thought so. Okay, so 25 plus 12 is 37. Plus 4, 41. Plus 1, 42. Plus 7, 49. Plus 6 is 55.
Ooh.
And then 2 more, 56, 57. That's it.
All right. It is not looking good as it comes forward.
Good
Although
to know.
it doesn't seem to register that idea.
Yeah, half of its body is missing, and it's not even thinking about
Still continuing
it. Giant
forward.
hole in its chest.
Altus?
Is it undead?
No.
Okay, it's not undead.
No, it is not.
In that case,
It's a WYSIWYG.
It is alive, so it is undead.
Is it alive?
I guess I don't know that.
you said it's not looking good. I'm too far to be able to run. Can I? No, let's go with the original idea.
Okay.
Can I cast Hold Monster and get it to fail a Wisdom saving throw? I know my wording was choice, but
Let me double check, and I'm pretty sure yes. Okay, so he's not rolling great. That was a 9.
he fails. He's paralyzed as I'm holding him. Tempest, this should help.
Holding him tenderly.
Not tenderly at all.
Anything else, Altus?
I'm gonna start slinking closer to it.
Okay, Z, you're up. And then Altus, you can let Mark know where to move you.
God. How far away is he from?
Bam! It's like 30 feet. Where do you want to go with this?
I'll probably just move up to Z.
Z, what are you doing?
Oh, God. Oh, God. Can I get a dex saving throw?
It's paralyzed.
Automatically fails.
It fails.
Oh, does it? Cool.
It's such a failure. This taproot of tunes.
You start to get ready, and I just look at you, and I'm like, it's fine.
You like wink.
So that doesn't mean that it's crit, though.
No, it's only attacks that you do against. I feel like it's melee attacks against it.
I have it
Criticals.
up here. Incapacitated. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet
Yep.
of the creature.
Okay. It's also a spell, so I wouldn't think that would work.
I mean, if it was shocking grasp.
It's not.
Well, I know. I'm just saying.
All right.
Can you please take 74 force damage?
74.
Nice.
As you do
I
that,
repeat.
disintegrate as well?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
It turns to dust. So I think I look at it and just like kind of growl like I'm done with this place, and just kind of like throw my hand up and a bolt of green energy comes out and hits it and disintegrates.
I'm holding it, the dust in place, and I go, oh. I drop it.
Scatters around, and you see it all swirl and
Didn't even
settle
have to waste
What?
your
as the
rage.
dust of the creature becomes stone on the ground.
Damn it, Z! I wanted to do something.
Do we?
I also wanted to do something.
Yeah.
We
You
shot
got
him.
your shot in.
I was going to Bigsby zip into the Mythalar.
Well, you are all out of combat.
So excited to just push it.
Push it. With that, you are all able to comfortably sit and meditate and take your time, and all of those that wish may become attuned.
What are the odds that that thing didn't attack us while we were sleeping?
I guess it's good for us.
I think, if I'm not mistaken about the way in which the Netheries build their traps, it was likely triggered by your attempt at attunement.
Good thing we didn't try that last night then, because it would have been a much different story.
While they're doing that, I'm going to spend time out in the city trying to get the Nothics to understand that they have to leave. Whatever that might entail and how successful I am, you can tell me.
Roll an investigation check.
Oh, great. 19.
You are able to find huddled Nothics in several of the buildings. As you enter, they look up clearly scared as the feel of the loss of Irilarthus is within each of them, as the change of the weave within the city from his massive weight on it has shifted. There's a sense of fear, panic. How are you trying to convince them?
I try to explain it to them in common and the other language, if I think it's only one other language that I know. Then I try to mime it at them.
Roll persuasion.
Okay. It is a nat 20.
Nice.
Persuasion +1, 21.
Okay, so the common doesn't work at all. They can't understand like anything. They just kind of stare blankly at you. And like you can tell, like one of them begins to move to take aggressive action, and another one of them puts a clawed hand up to hold it back as they try and decipher what exactly it is that you're doing. And as you go into the miming actions, they look back and forth. And you hear this sort of chittering sound, this broken sound of that Netheries language that you'd heard before, where they don't seem to be speaking in fluent sentences, but there's words here and there between these little clicks and cheeps, and it points and sends one of them out, who leaves with purpose. And through the open door and the broken out windows of the building, you can see it running to other hiding spots of the Nothics. It's starting to gather them.
Oh, cool. Okay. Cool. Good job, guys.
Now we've released thousands of Nothics.
I have to get to the Caves of Hunger first. So that'll weed out a few.
I mean, the ones that you guys found in the Caves of Hunger never left, so...
I
They
mean,
may all
there's
move
the
to the Caves of Hunger.
Razzmatazz too, so I mean, who knows?
That's true. What are the rest of you doing with your attunement?
So, if we move the Mythalar, the entire city comes with it?
If it is activated.
And there's no easy way to move this thing.
It is 50 feet across.
Well, my plan to teleport it is out. I thought it was much smaller than this.
I do appreciate the fun dichotomy of the two Arcane Brethren characters both having these grand plans that were then thwarted by the design of the device they intended to use to achieve them. Like, back to back. But
I have a simple idea. Comet?
got it.
No.
Cha.
Nice.
100% thought that was directed at Jake, and I was so confused.
Comet?
Like,
Really?
no! It took me a second. Okay.
Well, I believe if the Mythalar is as strong as we think it is, it'll probably survive the comet. So that might be the best solution.
It is a legendary item.
And if not, then no harm, no foul. For us, at least. Not
Right.
Sorry.
I hate to say it, Friedhelm. Otis is right. No harm, no foul.
Well, if that's your plan, we should at least remove it from the glacier.
How?
I
Turn it on.
With the same
If you want to hit it with a comet, we can just literally pick it up, put it in the air, and then hit it with the comet.
That's not a bad idea.
shall we?
As long as nobody disagrees, it will activate. Okay. With that focus, you see the stationary orb with those softly undulating lights inside begin to pick up as it begins to spin, as it's clear that the pedestal that it is built upon was built to rotate for its power. And as it spins and takes up speed, it begins to whir, and there's a soft wind that comes off of it, warm against all of your faces, as it gets up to full speed to the point where you can no longer perceive the motion in front of you. With that, there's cracking sounds. All around, snow begins shifting and crumbling from above as the portion of the glacier in which you are standing breaks off from the rest of it, and the entirety of the city lifts.
Will everyone
How are we
gather
getting
close to
down?
me?
When you're done.
Hmm?
Were you done?
I can continue afterwards if you have a plan or something that you'd like to all do.
If everyone will gather close to me, I'll put Wall of Force over us, so that way if there's anything that falls, we're safe.
Outside of the chamber, assuming you're heading back, you see it begin. You see the cracks where that 500-foot barrier in a circle form as it fights the weight of the ice on top and breaks away. And suddenly, you're raising within the glacier as the edges of the disc that the city is on scrape against the sides, creating these horrid loud sounds for minutes as you find out just how deep into this glacier you once were. And then all at once, sunlight comes flooding in from all sides as it continues to raise and raise. To the north, you can see the sea of moving ice stretching out beyond your vision. To the west, the small dots that make up 10 towns and the darker spots of the lakes seem to be less frozen than you last saw them. And to the south, the expanse of the spine of the world. You are hundreds of feet above the Reged Glacier. To the east, it stretches on as far as you can see.
Did we have to stay within 30 feet of it? No?
As long as we're in the same plane of existence. We could have done this from Bridgeshander. As long as we all agree to it. Altus, Z, I know you wish to destroy the Mythalar specifically. I know, Z, you wish to destroy the Mythalar. Yes?
Continue.
If we were to continue to use Ythryn, not only could we gain much knowledge from it and remove threats as we see fit, several things that we've come across could easily be destroyed, but there's also many good things that could be used by a new arcane brotherhood for the good of the world. And we could bring an era of prosperity to 10 towns that would be unheard of. We could bring seasonal weather 50 miles within this area. If the Frostmaiden were to return, we would be able to fight her effects.
And we all must agree on the use of the Mythalar, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it cannot be activated unless all of us are in unison.
And you do not even need to be anywhere near it. You could return home, go on adventures. There are things in this city that could make the world a better place.
And much worse.
Yeah.
Just so that everyone knows we're on the same page.
And much worse, but we all must agree on the use of the Mythalar before it activates.
Mm-hmm.
The Mythalar, yes, not the relics in the city.
Yeah. It's the bad things that are left in the city that I'm worried about.
I mean, I'm more than willing to work with you to remove the things we see as unsafe. I mean, I agree, there's several things in the city that should probably be deactivated. But think of what good the Divination Tower alone could do for the world. And if you're worried about people coming to get it, who's going to get up here?
I'm coming. I'm just coming back. And how are we going to get down?
Well, we can set down whenever we'd like, and I can teleport all of us to Waterdeep at any time.
Are Valen and Scant with us?
Mm-hmm.
Scant,
Oh, Kingsport.
Valen,
Yeah, Kingsport would be here as well.
can you remind me why we think Ythryn fell in the first place?
Well, according to the diaries that Miriarthos wrote before madness claimed him, it was the spindle. Experimentation on it caused a similar effect to what we saw yesterday, and in the process the city collapsed.
We could seal the spindle. It's obviously not safe to use.
We seal the spindle. I have the wand from the amphitheater.
And the spindle can be touched, so it is technically possible to move it. Just not with magic.
Right.
We could drop the spindle into the ocean.
I'm starting to think the good may outweigh the bad. I'm also realizing that our journey here really is kind of just beginning. I wanted to go south, but I think you're right. I will admit that to everybody. I think Friedhelm is right this time.
Mm-hmm.
The good might be worth it. Otis, what are your thoughts?
Good or bad, I'd love to be a god among men. And that seems like what we're going to be doing. So, yes, I'm in for it. We get to decide the future of humanity.
Remember, he will be only one in 8 voices.
Right, that's
It seems like the second voice isn't close behind either. Don't
I've
let
no
his pretty
urge to be a god.
don't let
among
his
men.
pretty words sway you that much, Aldous.
I have no desire to be a god. I study under a god.
That's what he's proposing.
He's not inherently incorrect. We would
Right.
have the power to rival gods.
You are interpreting it as rivaling gods. I maybe am just interpreting it as doing God's work.
Sure.
Okay, I'll take that. We can leave it right there. I'd rather we not dissect this any further before I change my mind. Z.
Do you want to be a god?
No.
I just said we should not dissect.
Do you wish to return home?
No.
Tempest, what do you want?
I think you all need a lot of protection now. So I guess I have to stick around and make sure you all don't kill each other.
Speaking of which, Valen, can you bring the barrier back up?
I think the barrier already was up. We wouldn't be able to get through the...
Well, she went out into the city, so
No, the barrier over, like the dome over it.
Yeah, the dome
We
that,
wouldn't have been able
that
to get
fell.
out because the snow would have crushed us.
if you walk outside and look up, the ceiling of the cavern is floating above the
Yeah.
city.
Uh-huh.
It takes everything
It would
within
have
500
crushed
feet.
us when we were trying to get out.
So the barrier's not up, but all of that mass above you in the glacier moved with you.
It's just
So there's just a
A
dome
couple
of ice
miles.
around us.
Yeah, I mean, it's open on all sides, but the ceiling is the cavern ceiling.
that's funny looking.
It's like a snow globe.
But at your request, she does raise the barriers again, and you see that dome raise. And the weather inside once
Frightful.
more becomes in the comfortable
The fire is
70s.
so delightful.
Whether that's
If
not
everyone is amiable of those who are currently tied to the Mythalar, which I believe, Tempest, you should definitely be one of the 8 if you are going to protect it. Why don't we bring some well-needed warmth to Brinchander?
I would love that as a first action.
Now, we shouldn't go crazy because no telling the ecological damage summer coming to the
Yeah.
frigid north could bring, but
Maybe we let nature do its thing.
maybe we don't have that frigid of a winter.
Maybe just ease up on the winter a little bit. Okay,
So let it go back to normal. There's a reason people came up here, and it's so cold.
that's true.
I believe people came here because it's a last resort, not because it's cold.
I came up here because I was told to.
I thought you were escaping persecution from your book.
It's a little bit of A, a little bit of B. And truly about half and half.
And as you all begin to once more set the weather of the north, the Sword Coast, to its natural state, the sun just having risen over 10 pounds, people coming out of their homes and realizing for the first time that she is truly gone, now that they've had a week with no aurora. Animals beginning to return to their normal migration, the lakes beginning to thaw enough for fish to return, and on the horizon, the vast city of Ythryn floating high above. You've completed the Rime of the Frostmaiden.
Yay! Now the dystopia.
Yes. I was thinking we could probably talk about some of like the character future stories and after party, or we can just do a separate episode that just talks about what happens with them for the rest of their lives from there. But thank you all. This is the first time that I've completed a campaign all the way through, so
Same.
you guys were awesome, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for running it. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
It was
Had a great time.
wonderful. It was a lot of fun. I
Really,
loved this
really, really
campaign.
Right.
And we have some end notes here as we're getting ready. As you know, we're going to be entering into Wild Beyond the Witchlight next, so that'll be this Tuesday, so in 2 days, which is I guess the date this first episode of this video will go up, but it'll be a week from blah blah blah. It'll be happening. It'll be great. We do have some news to go along with that. I don't know if you would like to share it, or if you'd like...
Sure, I will be leaving the stream after this episode, so I won't be joining everyone for Witchlight, which I'm sad about, but 2 years have been amazing with you, Mighty Misfit Menagers. So, yeah, it's been fun, and hopefully we can still do maybe the Dread game that we were talking about for Halloween, maybe some other one-shots, but I won't be joining for Witchlight. So.
And it is just a farewell for now situation. We are still, of course, have the door open for Mark when he's available to do guest spots or to come in for, like we talked about with Dread, of doing a stream for that or something. But we will definitely miss him on the weekly episode. So thank you for everything that you've done for the stream.
Thank you all.
Thanks for
Yeah, it
having
was
us.
so much fun.
And with that, we would also love to thank... That feels like a terrible segue of this like sad news, and then here's thank you so much to Sparky, Dossie, and Daniel, Scott, Rio's mom, Alistair, Sean, Rockelman, and Johnny Mack. And please let us know if you have any questions for any of us about the characters, the campaign, or what's to come. And with that, I think because this is the end of Rime of the Frostmaiden, we will come up with a tagline eventually.